Luke chapter 15. Steady cadence. Still scandalized. Owen Park's living room was not large, but it knew how to hold people. Two couches made a broken square with the armchair he used when he led. A low table carried open Bibles, one chipped mug that always seemed to find its way back to the same coaster, and a plate of shortbread someone had brought without announcing it. The window was cracked for air. From the street, a single dog barked once and then thought better of it. They were 6 tonight, which felt like enough and not too many. Owen waited until coats were over the chairbacks and pages had found Luke. "We're in 15, he said, "but I want to put it on a bigger map first, if you'll let me. Not a lecture. Just so we know where we're standing." Lila Cho tucked one foot under herself. Tessa Morrow had already underlined the chapter number twice, as if the ink might keep the page from sliding. Samir Adeyemi sat with his Bible closed under his hands, listening before looking. Irene Castillo took the corner of the far couch with the ease of someone who had sat in many rooms like this and survived all of them. Noah Briggs kept his phone face down on his knee and his place marked with a receipt from a grocery run, which he seemed slightly embarrassed by and did not replace. Owen opened to the middle of the gospel without reading yet. "Somewhere back here," he said, thumb resting near 9. "Luke says Jesus set his face to go to Jerusalem. From about there through the stretch we're in, the road is different. Not a different Lord, a different feel. Healings and crowds still happen, teaching still happens, but the days start to stack. You can almost hear a cadence. Welcome, friction. A story that answers the friction. Then the road again." He looked up. "And the people who hate the welcome keep showing up with the same heat, still scandalized by grace. That's the section I want you to feel under chapter 15, 9 to 19 roughly. The travel. Tonight is one sample of that weather." Lila's mouth tilted. "So it's Groundhog Day." Tessa glanced at her. "I was going to say the opposite. Day in the life, like we're just watching him do Tuesday again." "Those might not be opposites," Owen said, and left it there long enough for the shortbread plate to be nudged an inch closer to the middle. They prayed. Owen's words were short. Then he nodded at the open pages. 1 through 3. Who'll take it? Tessa read, "Tax collectors and sinners drawing near to hear. Pharisees and scribes grumbling, the charge that he received sinners and ate with them." Her voice was even, almost practical, as if she were listing the day's appointments. When she finished, the room held a small quiet. The kind that is not empty, so much as loading. Lila leaned forward, elbows on her knees. "That's what I mean. I've been reading this stretch on the bus, not just tonight. Different towns, different setups, and then this. They're mad again that he eats with the wrong people. He's answering again with stories about lost things and joy. I keep waiting for the plot to invent a new villain or a new miracle brand, and instead it's the same argument in a new shirt. Groundhog Day. Not funny, just looping." Noah's thumb worried the edge of the receipt. He did not speak. Tessa shook her head once, not hard. "I don't hear a loop. I hear a schedule. Morning, people come near. Midday, somebody mutters. Afternoon, he tells a story that puts heaven's joy on the table. Evening, still walking toward the city that will kill him." She tapped the page. "If you only grab the grumble, it feels like a sitcom reset. If you stay in the day, it feels like ministry with dirt on its shoes." "Both can be true," Irene said, mild esteem from a cup. She did not look at Owen for permission. She looked at the two women as if she had watched this exact fork in the road before. "I've been in churches long enough to see the same table fight wear different clothes for decades. That is a loop. And I've also watched Ordinary Tuesday save people. Ordinary hospitality, ordinary stubborn welcome, while the calendar keeps moving toward harder things. That is a day in a life." Her fingers rested on the cover of a Bible whose spine had whitened from years of opening. Luke's travel section is where those two meet. The Lord keeps the same work. The leaders keep the same scandal. The road does not wait for either of them to get bored. Samir's eyes flicked to her, then back to the table, as if he had filed the sentence somewhere he could reach later. Owen nodded. "Let's stay in the sample. 4 through 7, sheep. Then the coin. Then as far into the sons as we need. Not to retell them into a movie, to hear the cadence under them." Lila read the 100 sheep, the one lost, the wilderness, the shoulders, the friends called to rejoice, the joy in heaven over one sinner who repents. When she hit the 99 who needed no repentance, something dry entered her tone. Not mockery, recognition. There it is again. she said after the amen. Nobody spoke. Find, carry, call the neighbors, heaven's joy, and the righteous who don't need anything, standing there like furniture. Tessa took the woman and the 10 coins without being asked. Lamp, sweep, careful search, friends again, joy before the angels. She finished and sat back. That's my Tuesday, she said quietly. Lamp, sweep, seek until. Not glamorous, not a new campaign, just the work. Noah made a sound that might have been the start of a word and then shut it off. Owen looked at him without pinning him. You can leave it unfinished if you want. I don't want to sound stupid, Noah said. The honesty of it made Lila's face soften. I've heard the prodigal story. Everybody has. I thought this chapter was the prodigal chapter with 2 warm-up acts. He opened his hands. But if what you're saying about the road is right, if this whole section is the same kind of day over and over, then the warm-ups aren't warm-ups. They're the beat, and the sun story is the beat getting a face. Irene's smile was small and real. That is not stupid. That is arriving. They read the younger son together, trading verses the way people pass plates. Portion asked for, far country, famine, pigs, pods, the speech prepared, the road home, the father who saw while the boy was still a long way off. The run, the embrace, the robe and ring and sandals, the calf, the dead and alive, the lost and found. No one decorated it. The text did its own work. When the older son entered from the field to music and dancing, the room's attention tightened the way a string tightens when a hand is already on the peg. Owen read the older brother's anger himself, slow. The years of service, the goat never given. This son of yours, the father coming out, you are always with me. All that is mine is yours. We had to celebrate. This your brother was dead and is alive, was lost and is found. After the last line, no one hurried to improve it. Layla broke first, voice low. Groundhog Day isn't only the leaders outside the parable, it's him. She meant the older son without saying the title like a label. Same scandal. Grace throws a party and he won't go in. I've been that man in church basements and parking lots. Different decade. Same heat. Tessa rubbed a finger along the margin. And the father still comes out. That's the day in the life part I can't shake. He doesn't invent a new strategy. He goes to the field son the way he ran to the road son. Same father, same motion, 2 directions. Noah stared at the page until the words blurred and then cleared. I always thought the story was mainly about coming home dirty, he said. Tonight it feels like the house is also about people who never left and still can't stand the music, he swallowed. Is that allowed? To see both? It's required, Irene said. And there was iron under the kindness. If you only love the return and never hear the grumble, you will not understand why Luke puts Pharisees at the door of the chapter. And if you only scold the grumble and never feel the Father's run, you will turn this into a weapon. I've watched both mistakes last 40 years. They do not get wiser with age. Samir opened his Bible at last, not to perform, only to check a line he already knew was there. When he spoke, it was without drama. So Groundhog Day is the pattern, he said. Day in the life is the scale. The travel section is where Luke lets you live inside both until you stop needing them to fight. He glanced at Owen. And the 2 phrases you started with, steady cadence of ministry, still scandalized by grace, are the 2 sides of that same stretch. He keeps seeking and eating and telling the joy. They keep choking on it. Chapter 15 is one room where you can hear both rhythms at once. Owen's throat worked once. He did not thank Samir for being clever. He only said, yes. Noah laughed under his breath, surprised at himself. I came in thinking I was behind. Like everybody else already had a system for this gospel, and I was still learning where the chapters were. He looked around the circle. Lila's restless honesty, Tessa's practical gaze, Irene's long patience, Samir's quiet precision, Owen's open book. I think I was just early for a different kind of hearing. The loop and the Tuesday. Both. Lila pointed at him with a shortbread crumb still on her finger, almost accusing, almost fond. Don't get tidy about it too fast. Let it stay a little uncomfortable. The older brother doesn't get a neat bow. I'm not tidy, Noah said. I'm awake. That's different. Irene nodded as if she had been waiting for that word. Awake will do. Owen closed nothing. He left Luke 15 open on the table like a place setting that still had work to do. We don't have to finish the road tonight, he said. 9 to 19 will still be there next week, with the same cadence and the same scandal. For now, he looked at each of them in turn, not as a preacher scanning a crowd, but as a host checking that no one had been left outside the music. For now, hear the section's difference. Not a new Jesus. A steady ministry under pressure. and leaders who are still scandalized by grace. If the chapter felt like a loop, good. If it felt like an ordinary holy day, good. Luke can carry both without apology. Outside, the dog had given up. Inside, the cracked window let in a thin, cool line of night. Tessa closed her pen. Lila sat back, not finished with the loop, but no longer alone in it. Samir's hands rested open on the page. Irene's Bible stayed where it was, worn and sufficient. Noah turned his grocery receipt into a better bookmark without joking about it. And when he looked up, his face had the unguarded look of someone who has just realized the story is larger than the version he was handed in childhood, and is, against his old fear, glad. Owen reached for the shortbread, broke one piece in half, and set both halves on the plate again, as if the room itself might yet come in and eat.